Hello.
The 21st century saw the rise of a new creative class. In an era of information and consumption, these creative people were on the front line of communication. They were witnesses to the excessive consumption that was exponentially increasing throughout the globe in an unprecedented scale. Their role is seen as to facilitate the function of this collective behavior by modifying information. They could potentially affect the behaviors of the people and play a major role in creating a loop of consumption. People at the time called them graphic designers. With the advent of new media technologies, a small part of consumers slowly became more aware and critical of the stupefying process that was imposed on them by the system. Following the social, political, and technological changes, within several decades graphic designers underwent major enlightenment. Realizing the needs and wants of the new critical consumer, the forefathers of graphic design set out to enlighten the upcoming younger generation. This creative intellectual movement accepted the need of the contemporary cultural phenomenon, the public craving for celebrities. The following generation saw the emergence of a small group of highly intellectual and skillful graphic designers. This new breed of graphic designers understood the importance of the celebrity industry as a platform to change the behaviors of the stupefied public. Graphic design became part of show business, which was subsequently named the design business. The general public quickly took notice. They excitedly turned their attention to graphic designers, who became the new breed of celebrities. As graphic design rose to prominence, the profession redefined itself radically. They were not celebrities who ran 100 meters in 9.58 seconds, or played piano with their shoes, or became socialites. They used their communication skills in various areas to make the majority of the hypnotized public more aware of existential issues. In a short amount of time, graphic designers were creating their signature styles, which in time became social phenomenons. A new type of event was evolving in the form of huge-scale graphic performances. This entertainment platform swept the crowds around the globe in massive numbers and was closely followed by the mass media. Graphic designers started to design identities for other celebrities. They became the visual managers of other famous people, including presidents and famous innovators. This type of design became known as personal identity branding. Annual design award ceremonies in London reached the glamour of Oscars. The graphic designers of the graphic design profession redefined its public image. The increasing media coverage exposed graphic designers to establish their profession as one of the core pillars of society. Within a couple of centuries, graphic design became something very different than what it was historically. It became a social phenomenon. It wildly spread across cultures. Graphic designers knew how to differentiate themselves from other sectors. Thus their brands became immensely popular within the new crowds. They were harnessing creativity in the people. Instead of being economic tools, they became the facilitators of emotional participation. Global cities were redefining their identities. The financial centers in the historical cities were being replaced by participation-oriented design centers. These new centers were restructuring the cultural and political landscapes internationally. They became the innovation centers that focused on sustainable and life-enhancing innovations. Design started to lead cultural diplomacy. The business sector followed the decisions made within these design diplomacies. This collaboration led to innovative technologies being created that would improve the quality of life on Earth. Graphic design enabled the evolution of the general design business. Graphic designers had the privilege and responsibility of being the communicators of hope and change for the good. The informed people of the age understood their value and participated in the process. The philosophy of the era was changing from a mentality of having to being. People had grown into design values voluntarily as they experienced the improvement of diversity of cultural and biological life on Earth. This phenomenon was later named as organic branding, a happening that was created over time voluntarily by the people without any influence of external power. People grew into design. They started to believe it. They were evolving it. They were becoming it. By the 25th century, the almost 500 years long movement of design was evolving into an ultimate belief system. The constant innovations that were witnessed within these centuries created major changes in cultures. The people of the diverse cultures on Earth became more connected not only as a result of nano-communication technologies, but also on a spiritual level. Design did not replace the historical main religions of mankind, but became an additional philosophical belief system that was based on creative and scientific approaches. The creative, humane, and subjective elements of design created a spiritual ground for people to believe in change and not mythology. Its values were based on collaborations with different scientific and humanistic areas. These collaborations created the environments for cultural and biological life to flourish on Earth. The historical forms of mass media such as internet helped to document the history of the whole movement. Thus, the new generations were being educated the history of design with real historical video footages, archives of blog posts, Facebook wall posts and similar media from the time. History was documented with these old forms of media, and the new kids were experiencing it. History is full of movements that started step by step and evolved into hugely influential ideological movements. Design had started its movement from the latter half of the 20th century and fully started to blossom after the 21st century. Thoughts have a power that is still unknown to mankind to this point. Even today, that is in 16th of March 2412, we are still exploring the power of the human mind, and design is helping us along the way. We want to thank you for your efforts and creativity in enabling the humankind to enter a new historical period. As this is a message from the future, we would like to ask you, do you believe in design?